So if you're watching this video, you're probably a cheapskate. Now, it's nothing to be ashamed of, I'm a bit of a cheapskate myself. But what if I told you that you can now buy yourself a Raspberry Pi for just $4? That's right, $4, because they just announced the brand new Raspberry Pi Pico, a super budget $4 Raspberry Pi. That could not be right? How on earth could they make a Raspberry Pi for just $4? Well, surprise surprise, you're not just basically getting a bunch of silicon and being told to create your own CPU, you do actually get a proper miniature computer. Though as you can imagine, you're not really getting too much for just $4. The included RP2040 CPU is a whopping dual-core ARM processor that runs at a whopping 125 MHz. That's right, 125 MHz, and that's it. Not to mention that the I/O itself is also very limited because it has just a single normal USB port on it as well. So yeah, a very budget thing indeed. So why on earth would anyone want it? Because it's very clear that unlike with other Raspberry Pis, which you could use like in a PC with Raspbian, and you could daily drive it with a semi-straight face, there's no way you could actually do anything with that with this, right? Yeah. So that's why it's a bit misleading that it's called a Raspberry Pi, because it's in a league of its own. Because it's not really meant to be used like this super budget computer like other Raspberry Pi products. This one is meant to be for just the most basic of stuff, like for example some home automation stuff, or just random experiments because you're bored, or for use for classrooms, or for stuff like sensors and cameras. It's definitely not meant to be used like an actual PC like other Raspberry Pi products. So for $4, that's what makes it pretty interesting, because then it's not trying to compete with other Raspberry Pi products, but rather with the whole Arduino market, which is basically just a whole bunch of microcontrollers meant for things like, again, sensors or home automation, or just anything that requires a tiny bit of I/O and logic behind it. You just throw an Arduino in there and boom, you're done. And this is pretty much what it's supposed to be competing with. It's an Arduino, not a standard Raspberry Pi PC, even though it's called a Raspberry Pi. But it's still a very interesting product nonetheless, and honestly I would love to maybe experiment with it myself, seeing how cheap it is. So if you'd like me to make a video about a Raspberry Pi Pico in the future, definitely let me know down in the comments below, because I think it'll be really fun. And even though it is just $4, before I get everything else needed, it'll probably amount to quite a bit. And seeing how YouTube ad revenue is pretty terrible, especially in January, then hey, Patreon's a thing. Check it out, it's down in the video description below, and even $1 a month goes a long way in helping my channel and allows you to make way better videos and some videos on way more interesting topics. And also I would love to thank my Patreons Kevin Burns, LKB, Naomi Sushi, Ryan, Tiffany Jacobs and Wolfie. Thank you all so much. Your help really does go a long way. Down there you're also going to find our Amazon Associates links and also our Discord, and that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. If you did, remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in what I like next. Goodbye everyone, goodbye.